You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
Hey. Yeah, it's the big show. That's right.
Some say that karma is a bitch.
Yeah, I must have done something in my past
Some say
life.
that karma is a bitch.
Paying that price.
The big show.
It's the big show, Truth on Tap.
Okay,
Talking about pain today.
I had to travel to San Jose.
This is my friend that stayed in the haunted hotel. She ran out. Those of us in pain would have to loan.
But I did call
Wow.
for a hotel that had a room for me.
God help us if the place catches fire. You're listening to Truth on Tap. This is your host, Kevin Kierstead. Today's topic is going to be chronic pain and the crippling effects thereof. Hope you'll come in and join me on the chat. You can call in. We're testing out a new voice technology here. The number is 910-NO-LYING. Seriously. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but that's what it is. Give it a shot. I don't have the number memorized yet, just the kind of the acronym there. We'll test that little technology out. We have the voice chat up and running, and we're going to just talk about some interesting pain topics here today. One of the things that got me thinking about this today, it's not, my pain is not something I talk about a lot. I think it's kind of a personal issue, and I think it's private, and so it's not something I like to share much. And my girlfriend will tell you that I'm kind of an actor, a decent actor. When it comes to hiding it, I can go out and look like a normal person, walk around, but it's a fight, and it gets harder and harder to do as time goes by because the pain is ever increasing with a chronic condition. In my case, the condition is severe lumbar arthritis, along with moderate arthritis in the right knee, and I wrestle with those daily. And the biggest problem that it presents to me is along the lines of sleep. And I'll explain to you how that unfolded. You know, when I hurt my back in 2000, I had my first surgery. I've had two on my back now and 2 on my right knee. It was funny because the pain was in my right hip. So there we were, trying to do physical therapy to figure out what the heck was going on with my right hip. And after a couple of months of that, when they stated that you're not responding to physical therapy, hi Princess, yes, you can help me broadcast. My cat's all up in my face right now. She needs loving, and she'll wait for no one, including an audience, when she needs her loving. Yeah, you heard me, didn't you, girl? Yeah. Talk to the people. Say hi. Say hi. Me? There you go. They said you're not responding to physical therapy. We're going to have to send you for an MRI. I said, okay. Send me for an MRI. Come back to my doctor. She says, well, you got a disc. That's exactly the word she used. I said, I hope I have a lot of discs. I have a spine. She said, no, you got a big old blown one. One thing led to another. Went and had the surgery. My neurosurgeon told me that it was the most pancaked disc he had ever seen after he got done cutting out what he could of it. Well, that got rid of that hip pain. Hallelujah, right? But what it brought with it was bone on bone. And that's been, I'd take that hip pain back any day if I had known. The trade-off was a phenomenally bad deal. Now, one of the things I want to do today, instead of just talking about me, hopefully, Princess, come on now. She's trying to type. She wants to talk to you about her pain. And her pain is all psychological. She believes that kangaroos are giant mice, and she would like to know why we won't let her outside to go hunt them in Australia. She said she'll catch a ride on a cargo ship. I don't know what she's talking about, but you know, she's not going to be able to broadcast on this particular show. Maybe if the public demands it, I'll let her broadcast on future shows. Hold on one moment. So I wanted to talk to you about some of the breakthroughs in pain treatment and some of the things you're not seeing on people that have daily pain that they struggle with. Some of the things maybe they're hiding. Some of the things maybe you don't understand. It sure is easy to judge somebody that's not holding that 9 to 5 or that looks like they can do one thing, but you think, why aren't they doing another? It gets very complicated. And again, and I'm just kind of teasing you here with this, I'm going to focus on sleep, but not yet. There are several college websites that I've been looking at, and they're some of the most trustworthy when it comes to new studies, at least as far as data goes. Your data is very scientific there, rather than anecdotal. We've got something from Duke. That's today.duke.edu. This is 2013. I believe, July 17th, 2013. So, it's only a month and a half old. Uncovering a healthier remedy for chronic pain. This comes, I believe they're talking about fish oil here. I'm going to bring it up and just show you the highlights of it. This is physicians, and I'm reading, physicians and patients who are wary of addiction to pain medication and opioids may soon have a healthier and more natural alternative. Duke University study revealed that derivative of DHA, that's docosahexaenoic acid, a main ingredient in over-the-counter fish oil supplements, can soothe and prevent neuropathic pain caused by injuries to the sensory system. The results appear online in the Annals of Neurology. They go in to talk about the compounds and how they work, laboratory mice, what their findings were, the reduction in nerve swelling, analgesic effect, and it's coming along. So this is a relatively new, but not really proven angle on pain management. But who's it going to hurt? I mean, you already got fish oil supplements out there. You might as well get a quality fish oil supplement and give it a shot. I sure will. This is one that came to my attention here, and I hadn't thought about it before. This is spouses and significant others, of course, and this comes from Penn State University. Spouses losing sleep over partners' chronic pain. Last night, let me give you a little rundown on my last 24 hours. Yesterday, at about 1 o'clock, I first went out of the house to pick up the backpack for my stepdaughter-to-be at her school, which is only a mile or two away, and so she could participate in our local festival here, which is called Market Days. And I wanted to participate as well. So I grabbed her bag, started to make my way back home. Well, the traffic got really bad. So I said, well, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I went in and dropped the bag off at a friend's shop there. He's got a shop in town. That's Western Shore Heating and Cooling. For those locals, if you need any environmental service in your home, whether it's heating, cooling, or cleaner air, make sure to get in touch with Western Shore Heating and Cooling. They're in the book. They're also on Facebook. Dropped the bag off there, got to walking around. Now, when I get vertical, I know I'm going to pay a price. When I get vertical, the compression begins. And the way I can relieve it, at least out in the field, if you will, and you must because I did, is to bend over. And the best position is to sit on a bench or a chair. Better yet, to sit on the ground because it forces my knees up closer to my chest. And bend over. And somehow, the way that the spine is crunching down on the scar tissue or nerves, the bending over relieves it some, but not a whole lot, especially after I've been vertical for a while. Well, I did some walking around. I was monitoring Mallory's whereabouts, so I was checking in on her. She had to call me every half hour, and I wanted to see her in person every hour or so. And she's not even 13 yet, so it's one of those ages you got to kind of keep tabs, even though she's with her friends in broad daylight in a small town. You got to keep an eye on that. So I'm walking around. I'm feeling it. I know I'm going to pay. I go ghost hunting last night with a few friends, thinking this is it. This is the icing on the cake of the disaster that my spine is going to become for a month. Why am I doing this? I guess I was in a social mood, and today I'm paying a very heavy price for it. I wanted to go down there again today, and I can't. I can barely walk right now. So, but here's the thing I was telling you about with Penn State, and that is spouses losing sleep over partners' chronic pain. That's a big deal. Now we're not just affecting one person, and if this person's not sleeping, which I'm going to get into here, there are risks to everybody out there. Well, now you got two people that are losing sleep. So now you got, for every one person's chronic pain, you got two people going out there that are a risk to everybody because they have not gotten their rest. Especially if they're in a position of public safety and they have to be super alert, or they're driving. Okay? Now I'm going to take you back to 2010 and tell you what pain will do to you. Okay? the fact was, I was working constantly. I was a copier technician at the time in 2010. I was not only working a full-time job and overtime, but I was also working side jobs. And I'd go out of state. I'd go from Northern Virginia through D.C. into Maryland to College Park to get jobs. I'd do anything trying to make some extra money because my obligations had me overextended, and it's very expensive to live in the city. What happened was I fell asleep at the wheel one day because this pain doesn't let you sleep. You can take sleep medication, but it will give you what I call a sleep medication hangover. I can't stand that, so I just can't. And sometimes it makes you sleep so deeply that you don't even hear the alarm clock. So what are your choices? Oh, good, you slept. Well, now you've lost your job. So I dealt with it. I was sleeping on average a couple hours a night, and fell asleep at the wheel. Got in a little teeny fender bender, just a bump. Didn't even leave a mark. With a rented car, a Mustang. Exchanged information. That guy did end up making a claim, or the company did. No big deal. About 2 months later, I had been up all night, and I had called into work. Didn't even go to work that day. I couldn't function. I went to the VA hospital, got some help. Was coming home, and it was only, I don't know, a 15-minute drive, around 495 the Beltway, and fell dead asleep at the wheel. Dead asleep. 4-car pile-up, smashed windshields, fenders flying. It was a wreck, and I mean a wreck. And in the front car, which was barely impacted, of the 4 cars, she had a little boy. Well, that day was it. That day, although I didn't stop working that day, I knew in my mind this was over. Until the back is fixed, I can't do this. I'm going to kill somebody. I could care less about myself. In fact, I walked up to that lady and I said, had something happened to that little boy, you wouldn't have had to kill me. That's what I said to her. You wouldn't have had to kill me. And I told the police that I was passing, that I was trying to pass, and I looked back, and when I looked back up, traffic was stopped. That wasn't entirely accurate. I guess I can say safely, legally, that my memory serves me better now. I was mistaken then. Yeah, I was dead asleep at the wheel. Dead asleep. And that's no good. That's not going to work for anybody. That is murder/suicide waiting to happen. And God forbid you're in a public safety position, you're a bus driver, or you're a police officer, or you're, God forbid, air traffic controller, something along those lines. That's not going to work. So really it comes down to sleep. And my doctor realized that. I had a very good doctor over at the VA here in Hampton, Virginia. And he knew that the main core of my problems was the lack of sleep. So he was working on it from that angle. And we tried various medications, and, they all kind of give me a hangover. So I just don't like them. And some of them worked fairly decent, like Doxepin was one of them. It's a more mild sleep medication. And I told him I didn't like the hangover, so that's why he stepped over to the mild ones. But it still gives me a little hangover, So I just don't like it. So now I work out of my home. I'm really in bad shape. My back is. I need a surgery. I can't get one right now for, if no other reason, my stepdad's about to get one in a couple weeks, and I got to be able to help take care of them. He's getting a back surgery as well. After he heals and things are good again, maybe I'll get mine. But something's got to be done here, because I'm getting to the point where on a day after like yesterday, I can't do anything. And so anyway, I work on computers out of the home. I write books. I do this little radio show. I do graphics, arts projects for people, etc. Hopefully you didn't just hear that. There was a ding, and that was a message coming through on Facebook. I'm going to read you a couple of other... don't have silver. Give me 1 second here. People want me to make these. That's another thing I do, is I make paracord bracelets. So I had to tell a friend of mine I don't have silver, but I'll order it. And I wanted to read you a couple of other pain breakthroughs, I guess you could say. So chronic pain, AmericanPainSociety.org. They, of course, define in more general terms what chronic pain is, what it's doing to people. But they've also got a very active research program going on. And they're constantly coming out with new things. This particular thing they've got that came out on May 1st of 2013 is called the I believe, The Science of the Stretch. Let me bring that up. The Science of Stretch. Talking about the study of connective tissue, shedding light on pain, and providing new explanations for alternative medicine. This is part of why yoga has become such a popular prescription from pain management doctors to their patients. I have a problem with it because yoga to me is more for connective tissue in general, whether it's muscles, tendons, and I have a bone problem. It's not a soft tissue problem. It is a hard calcium deposit bone problem, or whatever, however you would define severe arthritis. So although stretching can help generally with the tissue type related pains, whether it's tendonitis or something along those lines, I don't think it'll help with bone problems. I have not done acupuncture yet, and I'd be curious to hear what your results have been with acupuncture, because I'll try about anything at this point. I'll try voodoo. I'll try anything. I'll try quack medicine. I had a very good, what do they call, chiropractor up in Vermont, who named Dr. Tom Turek, and he performed miracles on me. I would go to him and feel good for 3 or 4 days, and then I would have to go back to him. So I was going about once every, I don't know, I was going about twice a week, once or twice a week, depending on how my schedule looked at the time. And this was after my first surgery. And he would make me feel human again. What a relief to escape from that pain for a few days. But I went to another chiropractor when I got back to Virginia, and he didn't have the same abilities, let's put it that way. Not only that, but he started messing with my neck. And my neck's fine. I don't need you shoving on my neck. So I didn't go back to him, and I haven't been to one since. No real excuse for that. But, it's something that I'm doing research on slowly in a very passive fashion, as far as trying to find good chiropractors. What works for you? What is ice works to a degree, but first you got to go through the burning. It's like you're on fire. And then you got to go through the numbness. So technically you're ignoring other pains that may show up that may be giving you a message. So effectively what you're doing is temporarily relieving yourself of pain only for as long as your skin is numb. And I just don't see that as a solution. I mean, that barely helps as a coping mechanism. We need something that lasts at least a day or two, not 10 minutes until the ice melts. But ice does work. I mean, it helps a lot. When you numb it, you numb it. My pain does not spread out. A lot of people that have back pain, and especially lumbar spine problems, will have their pain shoot down into their legs. I had that like one day. It's just not been a problem for me. The pain is not down the legs. It's right there, about as big around as a quarter, right where the surgical wound area is at L4, L5. And the best way to describe it, I guess, is it feels like an intense headache concentrated down into the size of a quarter, along with an ongoing stab wound right there, with that cutting of flesh feeling versus just the bone headache feeling. Combine those two and add sharp shots of pain into it, extra doses, like hitting the turbo button on the pain once in a while. That's what it's like with my condition the way it is right now. I can't sit in any one position for longer than a few minutes. I can't go without bending over and stooping to I don't know what it does. I guess it releases the pressure. You look at the vertebra or the vertebrae, and they are they are like an accordion. And, kind of twist it one way, it opens the backside. Twist it the other way, it opens the front side. So what's happening when I bend over is I'm opening up that backside. The back part of the vertebra are opening up, whereas the front part is compressing. Well, when that back part opens up, that gives me a little bit of relief. So there's something right there. There's something in that back half of the hemisphere of the vertebra. I don't know what it is. And the MRIs, they just show insanity. It looks like it's a wreck. My spine is a wreck back there. It doesn't even... Looking at the last MRI I had, it looks like an amusement park. Nothing's where it should be. It's insanity. People are throwing up on the rides. Yeah, it's just terrible. And on that note, how about a little station ID?
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kirsten.
Yeah, it's almost official. Like I said, I'm not Don Imus or anything. If you're Don Imus, you can get a whole show with your voice. You can come out to the ranch. You come out to the ranch, we'll have potato salad, probably. Those are some nappy-headed hoes right there, aren't they? Hey, come out to the ranch. We'll slap a cow on the ass. Did you know a cow can run 15 miles an hour on a good day, maybe up to 17.5 miles an hour. A lot of people don't know that. If you don't have a horse, you jump on a cow and you smack it on the ass, you'll go 17.5 miles an hour. I rode one to town. I don't care. I strapped a kickstand to it. It didn't need that. It had 4 legs, but stability is important, and I wanted to add some. If you've ever seen a cow fall over in a cow tipping, it's not a happy sight. They don't want to get up. They're like weeble wobbles, but the upside down version. They won't stand upright. Okay, so that was my Imus impersonation. Thank you. Been working on it a little bit, I'll admit. But I got to work on my impressions. I haven't done impressions for 22 years. And Imus is the first one I started working on since I've hit my 40s. I used to do a lot of them. I may work on some others. I'm going to work on some Sean Connery. I may work on Captain Jack Sparrow. I may work on a couple others. We'll get there. That's one of the ways I deal with pain. Comedy, humor. I have a internet radio station on, I can't remember what the service is. It's one of those Yahoo services that I like to listen to stand-up comedy on. And it's just something that helps me psychologically constantly combat that pain. And that's another thing I wanted to talk about. The accompaniment of depression, the typical accompaniment of depression with pain. And I'm going to have to find this article. I had it earlier, but I was in a different browser. Here we go. It's Psych Central. PsychCentral.com talks about 50% of the people who have chronic pain anywhere in their body also have depression, according to Robert D. Kearns, Ph.D., National Program Director for Pain Management for the Veterans Health Administration, VHA, and Director of the Pain Research Informatics, Medical Comorbidities and Education Prime Center at the VA Connecticut Healthcare System. This is true. This is something. This is where you get into biofeedback and things like that. With depression connected to pain, and pain also connected to depression, you lower one, you can lower the other. This is the theory, and it is proving true in some cases. Some individuals experience a decline in mood with a sense of loss, he said. Others experience a loss of interest or pleasure in activities they previously enjoyed. I'm raising my hand over here in the back of the class. Still others experience an increased irritability, still got my hand up, impatience, or lower tolerance for the normal stresses of daily life. I'm raising both hands at this point. Chronic pain also creates many stressors which can lead to depression. Chronic pain interferes with a person's daily functioning. It lasts at least 3 months, more days than not. At least 3 months in duration to be called chronic pain, and more than half of that time must be experiencing pain for it to be chronic pain. People might be unable to work or work the way they used to. Consequently, they might have financial problems. I got both hands and both legs raised at this point. You're talking to me now. And a new role in their family. Hoo-hoo. Patients have told Thorne that not being the main provider has made them feel worthless or like they're not contributing to their family unit. Some of y'all are hearing me, aren't you? I'm hearing me. Treating both conditions. It's important to treat both chronic pain and depression, Kearns said. Many people with pain and depression say things like, if you had my pain, you'd be depressed too. Or, if you would treat my pain, I wouldn't be depressed. However, reducing pain doesn't necessarily reduce symptoms of depression. That's why Kearns suggested people work with providers who treat each condition instead of an either-or approach. Some studies suggest that a collaborative and integrative approach is best. A study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found the course of antidepressants followed by pain self-management program improved both depression and pain. Of course, you're not breaking any ground there. When to proceed with caution, one of the biggest challenges of treating both pain and depression is that feelings of helplessness and hopelessness lead people to try cures that are ineffective and even damaging, according to Kearns. Continued doctor shopping is problematic. A lot of people don't realize that doctor shopping isn't just people looking to score pain medications. Doctor shopping is just like car shopping. You're looking for what you want, and what you want is relief. So you're looking for a good doctor. Opioid medication is another concern. According to Kearns, there's very little evidence that opioids are helpful for chronic pain. Instead, there's abundant evidence of the potential harm of long-term opioid therapy. For people with pain and depression who may be vulnerable to pursue these kinds of interventions, it's best to be cautious. Most experts argue for very limited use of pharmacological agents and support education, encouragement, and judicious use of non-opioid over-the-counter medication, along with a healthy lifestyle. Now, I'm going to just step in here and defend the people that need medication for a second. If you're not living with one of those conditions, don't tell me about what kind of medications help or don't help, or are necessary or are not necessary, because I've tried every medication known to man. And I know that part of any true pain management program is going to be prescription medication if you have serious pain. Okay, you can't solve it all with yoga. An ice pack is not going to get you through when you're out on the road or when you're at your job. Okay, it's part of a collaborative. It's part of a holistic approach is medication. So I'm just going to stand up against that right there from experience. Psychotherapy they're talking about also helps. Let's see what kind of time we got here. Oh, we've only got a few minutes left, and I've still got to play a Bad Ace song. So tell you what, you can continue this discussion on Facebook. That's facebook.com/truthontapshow. I am going to load up Falling Faces today by Bad Ace. Bad Ace, consequently, playing tonight at Matthews Market Days around 8 o'clock p.m. If you're local, go check that out. It's in the middle of town. Can't miss it. Follow the tunes. And I am going to go ahead and sign off because I think we're going to run out of time here. So I want to thank you for listening to Truth on Tap. And this has been your host, Kevin Kierstead. Peace!
You're listening to Truth on Tap with host Kevin Kierstead.
I'm falling, torn between the dark and light, and I'm calling for your kiss to come the fight. Now I know it's a little too late for fantasies, but I've always dreamed you'd be the one for me. Now I see it's another lonely night for dreaming, yeah. I'll not be free, 'cause I never was a true believer. I want you to know I was better off dreaming anyway. I'm no longer waiting outside for you today. My, it's another lonely night for dreaming, yeah. So don't tell me you can find another friend to fill you down, child. No, just leave me. I was never anyone to care about. Now I'm crawling on another bedroom floor for sand. I'm stealing and feeling these blackened eyes will never see again. I want you to know I was better off dreaming anyway. I'm no longer waiting outside for you today or any other day. My, and there's not much to say. When I was thrown out your door, don't even know what I was begging for. My, it's enough.